Hello and welcome to Brand Your Passion, the show that helps you turn the thing you love the most into something that people know and love you for. I'm your host, Holly Arnett, the brand coach for creatives, and I'm on a mission to make the world a more creative place, one brand at a time. If you're ready to get more eyes on your work, more dollars in your pocket, and more creativity in your life, you're in the right place. Welcome. Let's brand your passion. Hey everyone, welcome back to Brand Your Passion and welcome to this week's episode where I want to talk to you all about planning for 2021. So I don't know about you, but I freaking love a good plan. I am the typical type A person who is all about planning. I love scheduling stuff. I love setting goals. I love putting dates on those goals, and I most of all love smashing those goals. Seeing at the end of the year or the end of the quarter, what goals have I achieved? What have I worked my way towards? What have I done throughout the year that's gotten me closer to my overall goals or my overall visions in life and in business? Today I want to talk to you all about why the heck you need to have a brand plan for the year, what you need to plan, and how to do that plan. So if that sounds good, let's jump in. Okay, so maybe you're thinking, Holly, why do I need to have a brand plan? Why? I hate planning, or usually I plan and I don't achieve anything and it just makes me feel sad. Whatever your reasons are, whatever your questions are about planning for your brand for 2021, there are a bunch of reasons why you do need to do this. You might have done some planning for the year before, but maybe not from a specific branding angle and thought about what goals you have for your brand for the year. So I really want to talk to you about that. And the 3 reasons why you need to do this is, number 1, it gives you things to work towards, right? If you don't have kind of a North Star or point on your compass to point yourself toward, then you're not going to have anything to drive you. You're going to feel a little bit lost. You're going to feel probably all over the show throughout the year, and you're really going to succumb to shiny object syndrome, which is what happens to a lot of us, where you get distracted by shiny new things that come up throughout the year that you're excited about, that everybody else is doing. We don't want that. What we want is a set direction of things that we can work towards that are going to keep us focused throughout the year and help us move towards whatever goals that we have. Number 2 is that you want to make progress for your brand, right? We don't want to be stuck in the same place. We don't want to look back in 12 months' time and realize we haven't done anything or we haven't gone anywhere and things are just exactly the same. You have big dreams, you have big goals, you have a vision for your life and your creativity and your business. We want to move you towards whatever your goal is, whatever your vision is for yourself. We want to actually get you there rather than just thinking about those things. We want to help you actually do them. And number 3 is that it is so important to actually work on your business rather than just in your business. You hear this pretty often in like the small business and entrepreneurial world, but it's so true. It's really important to make sure that you are taking time setting goals and working on your business rather than just doing all the day-to-day things like client work and making products or designing things. You want to be thinking big picture and think about, how do I move this business forward? How do I grow it? How do I push it towards where I want it to be? So those are the 3 reasons why we've got to do this, okay? I hope you're on board, but we have to do this. But the disclaimer is that this plan doesn't lock you into anything. It doesn't mean that you have to work on these things, and if you don't, then you're a failure. It doesn't mean that if you don't achieve them, that something's gone wrong. It just is, like I said, a North Star. It's something to work towards. So you can adjust them, swap them out if you decide they don't work anymore. Your vision or your mission might change throughout the year. You might start new products or new services or things, so your goals might change. The idea is just to give you things to work towards. So don't feel stressed out that it's going to lock you in, that you're not going to be able to try new things. If something comes up that you're not allowed to change anything, you are. Life happens, inspiration happens, it's cool. We can change things as we go, as long as we have things to work towards. So, does it sound good? Okay, let's do it. Let's talk about the things we want to plan for the year. And I have kind of combined a bunch of inspiration about like goal setting and planning, adjust it to meet your needs, take parts of it that work for you, parts of it that don't work for you can get rid of. It's cool. This whole planning process doesn't need to be stressful. You just got to make it work for you. So that's another disclaimer. Just make it work for you, but I'm going to share with you my process. So the systems that I use mostly come from the book Traction. So I do recommend this book. It's really useful for like practical business tips, but just keep in mind that it's written from the perspective of a man who looks after like multi-billion-dollar businesses that have hundreds of employees, and it's pretty corporate feeling. So you have to just like take some things with a grain of salt and pick and choose parts of it that are going to work for you and your systems, which is what I've done. I don't use the whole book, but I do use the meeting rhythm that's in the book, and I do use the rocks system, which I'm going to talk to you about in a second. Check out that book if you're interested. I'll leave a link somewhere. I do really recommend it. So how the meeting pulse works, or the meeting rhythm in Traction, is that you have yearly meetings, quarterly meetings, and then monthly meetings, I think, or weekly meetings. I added an extra one. So I have yearly, quarterly, monthly, and weekly. And this helps me to break my year into sections. So I have a yearly focus. So this year, my focus for the year was clarity. Above everything, I really wanted to have clarity for myself about what I was doing. I wanted to get clarity, like give you all clarity about what I was doing. I wanted to make sure that everything that I was doing was super clear to you and to me, right? That was my whole focus for the year. Next year, I'm still finalizing this, but I think that my focus is going to be visibility. So now that I've clarified everything, my focus for 2021 is going to be, how do I then get that out there to more people, right? I want to be more visible. I want to be on more podcasts and conferences and things like that that make me and my work more visible. That is my overarching goal for the year. And so you can also set a yearly focus, and I really recommend doing that because it gives you a really big picture focus for the year. And it means that even though things might change within your year, it's the main thing that is going to overarch everything and give you something to focus on. Then you're going to have quarterly focuses. These are going to help you break that main focus down into 4 quarters. How I do this is each quarter of each year has a specific focus, and the general focus is the same. So quarter 1 is content or social. So that could be planning your sales content for the year. It could be launching a new podcast. It could be anything to do with like your products, services, content, social media, anything that you are creating and actively putting out there to market yourself or sell yourself. Quarter 2 is systems. This could be all about improving your onboarding sequences. It could be about improving how you sign on new clients. It could be about improving your social media processes. Whatever it is, it's about like setting up kind of the admin and processes and systems that help your business succeed. If you are a product business, maybe it's the quarter where you focus on like, how do I get a better shipping system? How do I implement better processes for uploading new work, etc. Quarter 3 is all about subscribers or audience or following, whatever you want to call it. This is all about how do I increase my following? How do I reach the people that I want to reach? How do I focus on reaching the right people? How do I get more people? This is your focus for quarter 3. And then quarter 4 is financial. So this is making sure that you're hitting those financial goals by quarter 4, whatever it is that you want to achieve for the year. Each year that focus is going to look like a completely different thing, right? One year my content focus, like last year, I'm pretty sure my content focus was my blog, and I really wanted to get that back up and running, and that was my focus for quarter 1, and I really just wanted to focus on that. So I had a lot of plans and things in place to make that happen. I think I have it written down that I wanted to plan my blog posts for the year, write some in advance. I wanted to redo a bunch of graphics for existing blog posts. My focus for quarter 1 last year was all about creating content and getting that set up in a way that was going to share my brand, get my brand out there to more people. I really wanted to establish myself as an expert. That's where my focus was in quarter 1. But quarter 1, 2021, even though the focus is still like content and social, it's gonna look different because I already did that last year. I nailed that, smashed it. So I'm gonna have different goals that are gonna be focused on content and socials in 2021. So that's kind of the quarterly structure. And this is a whole different topic, but I do meetings with myself every year, every quarter, every month, and every week to make sure that I'm on track with these things and keep myself going. So the meeting pulse, which is what it's called in the traction book, is what kind of informs my goals and my brand planning for 2021. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty of the planning for 2021. So I don't know if you've ever heard this kind of analogy before. I use it all the time, where you have a jar, okay? Imagine a jar. This is a jar. And if you like pour in all the little stuff first, you pour in all the sand, then maybe you have a couple of pebbles in there. You don't have any room left for the big rocks that you need to put in there. You're like, oh crap, I forgot about those big rocks and now I don't have any room because I've filled it all up with sand. That's not what we want to do with your year either. We don't want to fill up your year with all these tiny little things that aren't actually that important, but they get in the way. What we want to do first is put the big rocks in first. These are the big goals, the big missions that you have for each quarter. That's what you want to put in there first. Then you put in your pebbles, and then you fill in the rest of the space with sand. Does the analogy make sense? I really hope so. What I do for each quarter is I set up what my rocks are for the quarter. So these are like the big projects that I want to get done to move my brand forward each quarter. Like I said, in quarter one, a huge rock for me was planning and having a content calendar, an editorial calendar for the year for my blog. I make that specific and I set a deadline on that. The goal or the rock for quarter one for 2020 was to plan blog content for the entire year by the end of quarter one. And then I could break that down into pebbles. Okay, so how do I do that? Research what topics I want to talk about. Set up the content calendar. I'm going to need to talk to my editor about how to make this all happen. Whatever it is, whatever those kind of steps along the way are to get you to those big goals, those are your pebbles. So then you put those in next. Then you can fill up the rest of the time, the rest of what you need to do with sand. Those are all the little things that are not important, not going to help you move towards your like big goals, but they kind of need to get done, right? Life admin things, business admin things, those are the things that you can add in later on. So that is the structure of what you want to plan for your year. So you want to have your overarching goal, your overarching focus for the year. Like I said, my 2020 was clarity. 2021 is probably going to be visibility. Then you have your quarterly focuses. So you can use that same system that I do. Content in quarter one, systems in quarter two, subscribers or audience in quarter three, and then financial in quarter four. And then you can use that to kind of decide what those big goals are going to look like. So then you set what those rocks are. Okay, so if I'm thinking about my content for 2021, what are the big goals that I have for that? What are the big things that I really want to achieve that would move my brand forward in 2021? And what are the steps that are going to get me there? What are the pebbles? What do I need to do along the way to help me achieve those goals? And then what are the other things that I would like to get done or would be nice? That is your sand. And if you're thinking like, I don't even know where to start with these things, I don't even know how to figure out what these things are going to be, let's talk about that. How to plan this stuff for the year. So number one is you want to look back at your review for 2020. We talked about this in the last episode, so if you haven't listened to that or watched it, go back and do that so that you know how to review 2020. That's going to give you a list of stuff that you want to keep doing, you want to improve, you want to try. You're going to have a bunch of feedback, a bunch of data, research, a bunch of information, conversations and thoughts that are going to help you plan 2021. So what you want to do is just write a big list. List everything, brainstorm it out. What do I want to achieve in 2021? What would I love to do? What is going to move my brand forward and help me with those things in 2021? And then you're going to combine a bunch of those probably because they might be kind of similar or along the same topic to create your rocks. I would say you want to have about 3 big rocks per quarter. So you could like list all of those things that you had and then list them into categories. Category 1 might be content for quarter 1, right? So you write down all of the things that are related to content. So that could be like marketing content, it could be products, services, it could be opt-ins, freebies, masterclasses, anything that you want to kind of work on that's related to your content. Group all of those things. Then group anything that's to do with like systems. What is the shit that I need to improve to help me to make my business operate better, more effective, to help my brand be more powerful and make things easier for myself? What can fit into that group? Then what can fit into like building my audience and growing my audience, and then what's going to fit into like my financial things? What's going to help me with those financial goals and get me to my financial aims for 2021? So group all of those things together, and then you can combine some things that might be similar or that could fit into kind of one big project. So one big project might be your blog, or it might be your podcast or your services, whatever it is. Kind of group things that are related to a project. Those will become your rocks. So those are the big things that you want to achieve in that quarter, and you should have probably around 3 for each quarter. So your rocks might be, let me think off the fly what your rocks could be for 2021 in terms of content. So that could be, okay, I want to release a new freebie opt-in. That is my one project, one rock for 2021. I might have a bunch of pebbles that help me to achieve that rock. I might have another content project that is about launching my podcast or just planning my podcast for the year. I might just want to get my content plan for my podcast for the year all prepared and ready to go. Hopefully that makes sense, and you'll get down to 3 rocks for each quarter that are going to be your North Stars to work towards. This is going to be your brand plan, and I want you to write this down, put it in Trello, whatever it might be. However is the best or easiest way for you to look at this. Use it all the time. Like I said, I check in on it. I try to every week, every month, every quarter, and then every year, so I can look back at those things and see how I did, see what I achieved. Use it all the time. Like I said, I check in on it. I try to every week, every month, every quarter, and then every year, so I can look back at those things and see what I achieved. Like I said, this stuff can change too. So if you get to the end of quarter 1 and you're looking at your rocks for quarter 2 and you're like, oh, this stuff doesn't really make sense anymore, or actually don't think that should be my focus, then you can go through this process again. You can figure out what should be your rocks, and you can kind of rejig it. I hope that this makes sense. I hope that it has been helpful for you. I'd love to hear your thoughts on like the quarterly focus thing, on the yearly focus thing, on having the rocks, pebbles, sand system. Yeah, would just love to hear what you think about it. And if you do any of this planning stuff, please tag me on Instagram, take a snap on your stories or post it on your feed. You can also email me, whatever it is, however you want to get in touch with me. I would freaking love to see your planning in action because it makes me so happy. And I hope that it gives you kind of the confidence and the clarity about what you want to achieve in 2021. And I think it's really kind of empowering to feel in control of your business and see how to achieve your goals and how to get to the vision that you have for your business, instead of just like thinking about it or daydreaming about it or wishing you could get there. Doing this planning is going to show you I can get there, and I'm gonna get there, and this is how I'm gonna do it. So I hope this has been awesome. I can't wait to see your planning happening, and I'm so excited for how 2021 is going to go for you. So if you have enjoyed this video, if you have liked the kind of glimpse into my planning system for 2021, leave a comment down below and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Brand Your Passion and choosing to spend some time with me learning about branding, business, and all things creativity. You can find more episodes just like this one at blackandwhitestudios.nz/brandyourpassion. If you liked this one, you can tap that subscribe button so that you're notified about every new episode. And if you've got a spare second, I would love it if you could leave a review on iTunes or wherever you're listening to this podcast right now. I would love to hear from you and hear about how you're enjoying the podcast. If there were some helpful goodies in this episode for you, it would mean the world to me if you could screenshot your podcast player on your phone right now, hop over to Instagram or Twitter and tag me at Black and White Studios. That's at BLCKWHT Studios. By subscribing and reviewing and sharing, you're helping me to reach more creators just like you so that together we can make the world a more creative place, one brand at a time. I really can't achieve this mission without you, so your support means the world. I'll talk to you in the next episode, but until then, keep creating.